Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So on today's video, we're going to be changing the spark plugs on a 2012 Camry 4-cylinder. We've got OEM plugs right here that we're going to be installing, but you want to make sure before you get started that you got authentic OEM ones, or even if you got them from the store and everything, you want to make sure they're not counterfeit. So we'll go over that and I'll explain to you what happened to me in the past, so stay tuned. So for these, I got these Densos right here from the factory. Whether you're buying it from the factory or your local auto parts or Rock Auto, you always want to make sure you open these things up and check to make sure that they're real and they're not counterfeit. I already checked these things out and everything on them looks like they're authentic. The first thing you want to do is just make sure you check the iridium tip on here, make sure it's got that purplish tint. You want to make sure you check the color of this and then just the print on here, and then even the stamping on this part to make sure that everything looks kosher and it looks good. So I already checked these things out. If you saw one of my other videos on the Avalon and the Sienna, I went over all the issues I had with counterfeit ones that I actually bought from a dealer. So you go ahead and check that video out if you want to check, make sure that you have authentic ones, but I've already checked these out. One of the telltale signs is to make sure this thing, you want to check the plastic, because the counterfeit ones are usually clearer than this, and they also don't cover all the way to the end, but these things all covered all the way to the end and they look like they were authentic to me. And one of the things I did too was I measured the gap to make sure that these are all 0.044, which is the factory gapping on this car. Plugs on the 4-cylinder Camry is pretty easy. Pretty much we just gotta take this cover off right here, just pop this thing off. It pops off right here. There's just 3 holes that you just snap into these pegs right here. And then once we get in here, it's just 10 millimeters to take the coil packs off. What I would recommend is do not unplug these. See if you could just pull the coil packs off without unplugging them, because these things are gonna break on you, guaranteed, because they're just made from poor quality plastic and they're just brittle. So every single one that I've ever taken apart has broken on me. So I'll usually just unbolt these and just pull the whole thing out. Alright, so I got the 3 of these out by just unbolting these and loosening them up and just kind of lifting them a little bit. This last one, we're just gonna have to risk it and try to pop that clip. So instead of popping it back here, I usually take a little screwdriver and pop the front here to get it off versus doing it from the back. So we got the spark plug socket right here with the rubber in there, an extension. So we'll go ahead and just take them all off, put the new ones in and torque it down. All right, so we took the old ones out and then comparing them to the new ones. So the old ones were actually in really good condition. The tips didn't look that worn out. I gotta measure them right now to see where they're worn at versus when they're new. So one thing I noticed on the ones that came out of the car, which is the Camry, is it says made in the USA or assembled in the USA with Japanese parts, right? Where the ones that we got replacements, they're all made in the Japan, Denso Japan, kind of printed all the way around them. It's still the same part number and everything from Denso, and the same model. It's just these are Japan, these are US made with Japan and US parts. Looking at all 4 of them, they were in pretty good condition for 75,000 miles. I think these could have gone to 120 perfectly fine, but we went ahead and just replaced them because they're 12 years old. And while we're at it, for like $10 or $12 each, we went ahead and just replaced them. So we'll go ahead and put these back in, torque them to 18 foot-pounds to make sure that they don't back out on us, and we're pretty much done with this project. So we got it in there, pretty much everything. First thing I did was I left the rubber in there on the other socket and it got stuck in there, so you want to take that rubber off so you can tighten it down and pull it out easier. So we'll go ahead and torque it to 18 foot-pounds now and then put this all back together. Went ahead and put everything back, put all the clips in, no clips broken. The only one we had to do was take that one out. And like I said, I lifted up from the inside here and just wiggled it with a flat head instead of pushing it on the back here, which is gonna break. And the rest of these, I was able to just unbolt these things and just lift it out without taking the plugs off the coils. This is why preventative and routine maintenance is probably a big ripoff. Look at this. So I measured the gap and we're barely any gap or wear on these versus the ones I took out of the Sienna and the Avalon, which were at 120 or 140,000 miles respectively. This one was at 70,000 miles. We're still at the factory gap, so there's like zero wear on these. So this thing could have gone another 50 or 60,000 miles without an issue, but we changed them at 70,000 and 12 years. But look at that. Thanks for joining me on this video on doing the spark plugs. As you can see, for the Camry right here, the 4-cylinder, it's an easy 5-minute job. You just gotta be careful with the harnesses and everything and you don't break them. If you follow the steps I did, there's less likely chance of breaking them if you don't unplug them. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to your channel, turn on bell notifications, get notified every time I upload a video. For all these different projects, if I can do it, you can do it. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time.